All right, we've made it to the inspections. Okay, there's a number of different inspections that you might have on your next home, right? So let me back up. Typically in a real estate offer or a contract, the first 17 days is going to be your all-encompassing inspection period, right? Sometimes in an offer we'll change that, make it faster, lengthen it out, but as written, 17 days. So keep that number in mind. That is when we're going to have all of our inspections. We're going to review our disclosures. We're going to make sure the property is in a condition that we're super happy with. So let's talk about the different types of inspections. So typically you're going to get a home inspection or a property inspection, right? This is where the home inspector is going to go through and give you a detailed report about the 6 major systems of the house. I highly recommend you attend this inspection so that you can ask any questions and interact with the home inspector. Trust me, they actually like hanging out with you and answering questions. Number 2, you may have a pest inspection. That's what they're going to look for, bugs and dry rot, and that is a little separate than the home inspection. Okay, that one typically ranges about $100. The home inspection runs between $400 and $600 depending on the size of the home, if there's a pool or if there's a guest house or something like that. But kind of keep in mind the cost of these inspections. Another inspection that you might have is a septic inspection. If your home that you're purchasing is not on the city sewer and it has a septic tank, you may consider, or I highly recommend, having that septic inspected. Okay. Now, the terms of who pays for the inspections is going to be done in that offer process. So a septic inspection, if they don't have to dig it up, say if it has those big green risers on it and they can just pump it and inspect it, probably runs between $400 and $500. Now, if the tank is completely buried and they got to bring a backhoe, that's when those inspections can tend to come close to about $1,000. But a week after you move in, you don't want your septic plugging up. So it's kind of a good idea to have that inspected. Another one, if you're buying property out in the country where you're not hooked up to city water, is a well inspection. Depending on the type of property and the use of the property, you're going to run a 4 to 6 hour pump test, sometimes longer in agriculture uses. And they're going to measure the volume of the well, how far the water table drops, whether the water is good to drink, all that good stuff. So sometimes those inspections run between $400 and $1,000 depending on the type of inspection. So the good news is the seller cannot stop you from having any inspections that you want. Okay, they can't hide anything. They can't say, no, you can't bring your home inspector in for the first 17 days or the inspection period. They have to allow and accommodate your inspector. Okay, now you can get whatever kind of inspection you want. I've had people who want a paranormal inspection. The seller can't hide ghosts that they may have in the property. I know this sounds kind of crazy or whatever, but if you wanted to have a ghost inspection, a paranormal inspection, they can't stop you. They can't stop your home inspector. They can't stop your pest inspection. So as long as it's within that first 17 days, that's where we're going to analyze what those findings are. Also, we're going to review the disclosures. So the disclosure packet is going to be a packet of disclosures where the seller is telling you all the things that they know about the property, all the features that they're going to declare, how many keys they have, how many garage door openers, and whether they've made any insurance claims, all that stuff. We're going to review those together to make sure that there's no surprises on there. Once everything is all in and we have an idea on what the true condition of that property is, if there are items where I like to call them deal killers. Okay, if there are deal killer items, let's use a roof for example. A roof is kind of a high dollar item. Maybe you find out that the property has a really bad roof. Okay, and it's going to cost you $9,000 to fix. Well, that significantly affects the value of that property, and you may want to make some requests of that home seller. There's a number of different ways we can do that, and we use a request for repair. And as long as we're within our first 17 days, it's kind of a second negotiation, right? So we can either ask for a credit, we can ask for them to lower the purchase price, or we can ask them to fix things. Now, there are only 2 things in California that they are obligated to fix, and that's strapping the water heater for earthquakes and making sure that there are carbon monoxide detectors in the proper places and smoke detectors. Okay, so other than those items, the seller doesn't have to oblige you on any of the requests you make. Okay, the contracts are written as is, but here's the kicker. right? You're within your contingency period. So if the seller says, I'm not gonna put a new roof on it, or I'm not gonna fix this, or I'm not gonna fix that, you have every right to cancel that contract, take your deposit, and run. So the seller usually does not want to put the property back on the market. So oftentimes we're really good at negotiating realistic repairs. Now, we don't want to use this negotiation for small, piddly little cosmetic items, because even the brand new homes, there's little things that are wrong with it. So if there's a broken plug or a leaky faucet here or there, those usually aren't things that that the seller is going to be really acceptable to fix. So we want to save this process for the big ticket items, right? The deal killer kind of things. So once we have that all in place, kind of go back and forth on that, and then we're super happy with the process. Okay, other contingencies you're going to also have are your appraisal and your loan contingency. Okay, so we're going to talk about those in the next video. See you in video 7.